Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. And it's just Marco here once again to review Beavis and Butthead Season 9, Episode 2, Boxed In and Beekeepers. First off, I am actually trying out recording videos on the Voice Memo app. And what I do is then I import the file into the editing app, and then I put like a shitty video over it, and then I put a picture over that. And it actually worked for our hour-long MasterChef review, so I really hope it sounds better, because I have no idea why the other microphone has gotten so bad. Like, I noticed every time it starts, there's like a... and then it actually starts after that, and it sounds terrible. It sounds like, it really does sound bad, and I didn't realize that it sounded that bad, or else I would have done something a while ago. So anyways, this episode was very good. I would say, I give it an A, and I think that, a lot of people... For the first episode, they said that it wasn't as mean as the episodes back then. It wasn't as politically incorrect. Well, incorrect means, like, good. So it's like the opposite type of thing where, negative means positive. I thought that last episode, I didn't really see, like, a place to put in any humor like that. Like, in terms of, I didn't really see... the stories are so tight. Like, you have these short stories, you have these, and then you have the breaks where they're reacting to videos. And so I didn't really see, like, where they could have fit anything like that in, because they were too busy telling this, very, very tight story. Telling the escape room story, and then the fire story. And I do understand, though, and I just really want to think positively about this show, because I still feel like it's extremely funny, and I still feel like it's very smart, and it's a very good show. And I would say, though, I noticed it more in this episode, because I saw several very, very... obvious places that they could have put that type of humor, good humor in the show, and they didn't. And so I will say that is the reason why this episode is not getting an A+, is because I can see that now. I just didn't want to believe it, because I don't like that type of thing where people hold back and they won't say or do certain things because they're too scared to offend people. Like, who cares? Who cares about offending anyone? Like, I hope people get offended when they watch my videos, because then they'll feel something. What do they say about art? They say, if you feel anything about art, it's good. It's a success, because that's what art does. It's like a subjective spectrum of emotions that you can feel. Like, in the second half of this episode, we'll talk about it, I kind of felt like the second half was a horror episode. It should have been a Halloween special, because it really made me like, ugh. It was pretty scary in certain ways. It was funny, but it was also pretty... intense at certain points, and I'll talk about that. But first, trapped in a box, or boxed in, I thought that was hilarious. It was very Looney Tunes to me, the way that they're trapped in there, and they're almost like 69ing each other, and just, you have, of course, more back and forth with Beavis and Butthead, where Butthead is being very, very aggressive towards Beavis, and I really love that. I thought that was all hilarious. And then the part where Beavis is like, maybe we should just get used to living in here. It's not that bad. There was tons of hilarious jokes, but my favorite part of the entire episode, and probably the entire series so far, was when they were why was I going to say reenacting? Well, they were kind of reenacting when they reacted to the ASMR video. I thought that was hilarious. That was definitely the funniest thing, because I got to admit, there's a reason I don't watch those ASMR videos, because I get turned on as well. Because it sort of makes me frustrated too. Like, I see somebody, like, she's just slowly moving the marker box up and down, and it just makes me want to grab through the screen and just grab the fucking markers and just throw them all over the place. It infuriates me just seeing these, like, slow, delicate movements. But it was also pretty hot. I mean, and so I didn't blame Beavis for getting turned on, and I thought that, he wanted to start spanking his monkey, and I was actually expecting, and see, this was another part of the holding back thing, I was really expecting for him to start doing that, and then it would be like an ASMR thing where, you hear the undoing of the pants, and then you hear like a fapping noise in the background, and then Butthead starts freaking out. I was really expecting him to do that, because he talked about it for an entire minute, and then Butthead said, "You ruined it, jackass," or something, and then he changed the channel. I love that. And also, again, if you guys didn't watch my first video, I had already complained in my first video that there really isn't an explanation for why they're watching internet videos on the TV. And I thought that they could have just done like a simple explanation for that, and that was like another thing in this episode that just kind of stuck out to me, but not to the point where I was mad. But anyways, I thought that was great. I just thought that it would have gone further than that, because we all know, if this was Beavis and Butthead back in the 80s or 90s, he would have been like, I don't know if you heard that or not. That was my attempt at doing like a fapping noise. He would have been doing that. It would have been hilarious. And so, but it was still really good. And then finally, in the Boxed In episode, this episode was also very centric towards their teacher, their shitty hippie teacher. He took a lot of the jokes in this episode, and he took a lot of the hits, and we also got to see Mr. Anderson in the second half, which was awesome. I was like, yes! I was not expecting that, and I was so happy after not having seen him in the movie where they go across the universe. I was so glad to see him. But they actually, if you think about it, they finally made Butthead become Butthead, in terms of, they finally gave it a meaning, in a sense, because Butthead started kicking Beavis's ass with his own head, and so he started headbutting Beavis's ass with his head, and so now you can say, he's Butthead because he did that to Beavis. So I thought that was pretty funny too. I bet that was intentional, and so I really love the first half. I give it an A+ for sure. The ASMR part especially. I really hope that they do more ASMR videos with this particular woman. In fact, that's another thing, is I notice a lot of the reoccurring character and story arcs in this show, in terms, it's not anything like legendary, but I just noticed like the small touches that they're adding throughout the episodes. And so I think it'd be really funny if they had like a reoccurring thing where Beavis is in love with this ASMR woman. And you know what else they could do is, if they get a season 2, they could bring in the ASMR woman, and they could turn her into a cartoon, and they could have a whole episode where Beavis tries to get with her or something, and then maybe he does, and then it could be like a twist where it turns out that she doesn't have sex. She only likes to do some sort of kinky ASMR stuff, and that'd be pretty hilarious, honestly. Like if they did a ASMR sex thing, and so you could say Beavis finally scored in ASMR style or something. I think that'd be pretty funny. And then in the second half, it was beekeepers, and basically they want to make easy money by getting bees to make honey for them, and instead they find a wasp nest in Mr. Anderson's yard. And it was a very funny concept to me, but the way that it played out was very, it made me really uncomfortable, because we've had wasp nests in our, well, not nests, but what do you call them when they're like those weird like tunnels that are like, you know what I mean? Oh wait, there's a nest too. There's been like multiple nests in our front door. And so like in the winter time and then in the early summertime, we've had to like avoid wasps because they make little nests in our front door. And so like these wasps are pretty scary. And then like when we sit in Sophie's car, wasps actually try to get into the car. They actually see me, and for some reason they're really attracted to me. And so like they try to like stab into the car like the Jumanji bug scene. And so I was really getting like nervous watching this episode. I was like, yeah, this is funny. And especially the scene where they take the wasps home in a box, and Beavis gets mad at the box, and he starts kicking the box around. And that was like really, really good in terms of suspense horror, because you could hear the buzzing and and you could see the box moving around, and it was the suspense of if the wasps are, if they're going to come out of the box, when they're going to attack. I thought that was pretty scary, actually. And if they had just made a couple of tweaks, they could have made this a straight up horror episode part. And I think that would have been better, because as it is, I just give this one like a B+ or a B, a B for bees, because it really wasn't that funny. It was just very simple and just good. It was good. And finally, of course, they did a funny thing where they swapped boxes with the teacher. And I forgot the teacher's name, so I'm sorry. I know that they probably said his name a million times. I forgot. There's so many things that I've been watching that I just, names are getting tougher and tougher as we go along. But they get like vegetables or something, and then the teacher brings home this box of the wasps along with his lady friend, and she's like this older woman, and she looks like a hippie too. And then of course the wasps come out and they attack them. And I thought, again, that was like a horror part. That was a straight up horror scene. Like you could have had it was like a horror thing. And lastly, they had a little sequence where Beavis and Butthead are watching this Korean music video, and Beavis starts getting into it, and he starts twerking, and that was really funny. And then Butthead asks him to leave, and the place where I said that they should have inserted more risque, I guess risque is the word, more edgy humor, more better humor, was when earlier they reacted to this very funny Mexican video in the woods where it was like this shitty boy band, and there was this whole joke about Beavis going in there to he sprayed mosquito spray on his dick, and then he started spanking his monkey as well, and that was all really funny. I just thought, like, man, it's right there. Like, it is right there in front of you. Like, this is a golden opportunity for you to make some Hispanic jokes, to make some Mexican jokes, and instead it just turns into this slapstick fest where Butthead starts smacking Beavis a million times, and it's like, man, it was right there. And you could see almost that, like, they had to do that so that it would be a distraction from the video, so that you wouldn't be thinking like, I would make some jokes right now. And I just thought, like, as a writer myself, that was like a golden. I was so shocked that's when I realized that they're holding back. That's when I realized that this was not Beavis and Butthead 100%. I would say that this is, and tell me if you guys would agree with this, I would say this is Beavis and Butthead 70%. And there's that 30%. And that 30% is what made it funny and special to begin with. Because that's the whole point of their characters, is that they're these weird, freaky, idiot people, and they say like anything they want, and they're supposed to be like that. They're not supposed to be King of the Hill characters where they're normal people, and they're nice, and they're just regular people walking around. They're freak, weird people. They're weirdos. They're very weird. And to neuter them down so that you don't offend certain types of people, I think that it's a mistake, because you're telling the audience that basically these characters have changed, which is weird, because they're still supposed to be the same people. It's like the Simpsons type of thing where they're supposed to be the same, and instead they've changed in some way. Like, I find that very strange. And so I would say, if they have a season 2, see, this is the thing. If they don't get a season 2, do you know what I'm going to blame? I'm going to blame them holding back, because they could have easily done some jokes like that in this episode, and in that one scene. And then, you know what I could have said? I could have said, hey guys, you said that they don't do these types of jokes. Well, there's that whole sequence where they do jokes in the Mexican song video. I could have easily just said that. I could have had like an excuse for the whole episode not having it, but no. So that's the unfortunate part. It was kind of like it was disappointing. It's kind of like, it's like when they say, like, don't meet your mentors or don't meet your idols or something, like when you grow up and you see something or you see someone in a different light because you've matured, and, that's kind of what it's like for me. It's like this disappointing feeling of like, oh, this isn't Beavis and Butthead to the fullest extent it could be. It's 2022 Beavis and Butthead to the fullest extent they could be, I guess. But yeah, anyways, please like this video, comment, tell me what you thought of the episode. And I know a third episode came out. I'm going to review that tomorrow. I didn't realize there were going to be 2 that came out, or maybe there were 2 already. On IMDb, they said that there was only 1. And then this week now there's 2. So I don't know. I don't understand the release of anything anymore. I don't understand it. And then please subscribe to our channel if you'd like to see more honest reviews about Beavis and Butthead. Goodbye, everybody. See you soon.